Growing up, I always believed my dad was a man of integrity. He taught me how to ride a bike, how to shake hands firmly, how to look someone in the eye and tell the truth. He used to say, "A man's word is everything," and I held on to that, maybe too tightly. Because when the time came for him to live by those same words, he didn't just fail, he crushed every ounce of trust I'd ever put in him. And what makes it worse is that the betrayal didn't come from a stranger or some scam artist. It came from the man I called Dad, the man who used my inheritance to buy his new wife a house. My mom passed away when I was 17, cancer. Fast, ruthless. One day she was fine, the next she was gone. I didn't even have time to prepare. My world just collapsed. But through the grief, there was one thing she left behind for me, a future she had carefully protected. My mom had taken out a life insurance policy in my name and left behind a portion of her savings with explicit instructions in her will. That money was meant for my education, my future home, or starting a business, whatever dream I chose to pursue. It was hers, saved over years of sacrifice, and it was mine. At the time, I was too heartbroken to care about the money. I let my dad handle it, assuming he'd protect it, just like she would've. He told me not to worry, that everything was safe. "Your mom made sure you'd be okay," he said. I believed him. I didn't question the paperwork, didn't ask for statements. I was still a kid, barely hanging on emotionally, and I trusted him. Looking back now, that blind trust was the biggest mistake of my life. A year after my mom died, my dad started dating someone new. Her name was Denise. She worked at the hospital where my mom was treated. That alone felt weird, too soon, too convenient. But I stayed silent. I wanted him to be happy, even if it felt like he moved on before my mom's scent had even faded from her clothes. Denise was loud, flashy, always talking about real estate and vacations and manifesting wealth. She wasn't anything like my mom, and she made no effort to hide the fact that she didn't see me as part of her future plans. At first, it was small things. She'd accidentally throw out pictures of my mom, reorganize the house and move all of mom's things into the attic, start referring to herself as the lady of the house. My dad never stopped her. He just went along with it, smiling like a man hypnotized. And the more she took over, the more I faded into the background. It was like my mom died, and I became an unwanted reminder of a chapter he wanted to close. 2 years after my mom passed, they got married. A quiet courthouse wedding. No invite for me, no acknowledgement of how fast it all happened. But what stung the most wasn't the wedding. It was what came after. One day my dad called me over to talk. He said they were moving to a new house. A fresh start, he called it. I nodded, trying to be polite, until he said the words that shattered everything. "It's already paid for," he said. "We used the inheritance money." I stared at him. I actually asked him to repeat it, because I couldn't believe what I'd just heard. My inheritance money. The money my mother had left me to build my future. He used it to buy his new wife a house. Not for me, not for us, for them. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just sat there, numb. All I could think about was my mom. The nights she worked overtime. The way she skipped vacations so she could save more. The sacrifices she made for me. And now that money was being used to fund a woman who had erased my mother's presence from our lives, like she was a smudge on a mirror. "Don't be dramatic," my dad said, when he saw my face. "It's all family money. What's mine is yours." But that was a lie, because none of it felt like mine, and I wasn't part of this new family. I was a loose end, an afterthought, and the truth hit me like a truck. My dad had chosen Denise's future over mine. I left that night without saying a word, went home, and just sat in the dark. The next day, I started digging. I requested copies of the will, contacted the lawyer who handled my mom's estate, and that's when I discovered the second betrayal. My dad had been granted temporary control over the funds as a trustee until I turned 21. He wasn't supposed to use the money. He was supposed to safeguard it. Legally, morally, everything about what he did was wrong. I confronted him a week later, documents in hand. He shrugged. "You wouldn't have known what to do with it anyway," he said. "I made an investment in the family. One day you'll thank me." That was the moment I knew. He didn't feel guilty. He didn't even feel conflicted. He felt entitled, like my mom's money had always been his to control. so I made a decision. I was going to make him regret it, but not through yelling, or begging, or guilt. I was going to make it official. I hired a lawyer, a brutal, brilliant one, and we filed a lawsuit. Breach of fiduciary duty, misuse of trust assets, and inheritance theft. When my dad was served the papers, he didn't even call me. He called my aunt, told her I was going off the rails, that I was ungrateful, but I stayed quiet. Let the facts speak for me. Bank records, withdrawal slips, wire transfers, all showing my inheritance going directly into a down payment for Denise's house, a house with a pink mailbox, and an infinity pool, while I struggled to pay for college. The court case dragged on for a year. My dad tried every trick in the book, claimed he thought the funds were shared, that he assumed my mom wanted the family taken care of. But my mom's will was clear. The money was mine, and slowly, painfully, the court began to see the truth. The day of the final hearing, my dad didn't even look at me. He sat across the courtroom with Denise clutching his hand, wearing sunglasses inside like this was some kind of reality show. The judge ruled in my favor, full restitution, plus penalties. And my dad, his accounts were frozen, his reputation shattered, and that house, it had to be sold. Denise left him 6 months later. Apparently, she didn't sign up for financial drama. My dad called me one night after she left. He was drunk, said he never meant to hurt me, said he thought he was doing the right thing. I hung up, because by then I'd learned something important. Forgiveness is not the same as forgetting. People love to say blood is thicker than water. But sometimes blood stains. Sometimes family is the wound, not the bandage. And if you don't stand up for yourself, you'll drown in a lifetime of being quiet just to keep the peace. I used the restitution to finish college. I bought my own house, one that actually felt like home, and I framed a copy of my mom's will and hung it in my living room. Not because I needed a reminder of the fight, but because I needed a reminder of her love, the kind of love that doesn't manipulate, doesn't take, and never expects you to suffer in silence. So yes, my dad used my inheritance to buy his new wife a house, but in the end, I made sure he lost far more than money. He lost me.